some of these people want to vote Peter Obi. When they get there, they will be struggling to kind of like, where is his logo? Like,
Nigerian people worldwide, una need to see this video from this very young man. This man give very critical advice to Peter Obi. In short, he give very see this man. He be political scientist. Men I hear the truth when he tell Labour Party and Peter Obi. He tell them say if they continue the way that they go like this, say they go fail. Say make them come point out what they're supposed to. I mean, men I share this video. This video must reach Peter Obi wherever in day. He must reach all the campaign organizers.
Because you described 2023 as possibly the most important election that Nigeria will have had, in history. But then, is it just about these two people? A lot of people will argue with you, particularly the youths, that the game has changed, or is changing, or will change, and that the so-called owners of Nigeria may not have a role to play this time around, that the ownership of Nigeria will go to those with the PVCs. So I'm asking, outside of Asiwaju Bola Ahmed Tinubu and Atiku Abubakar, is there no Kwakwanso? Is there no Omoyele Sowore? Is there no Peter Obi, for example? Are you limiting, by your own assessment, the importance, the landmark essence of this election to just those two people?
Well, I'm not limiting it, but I try to be as realistic as possible. Then, based on my profession as a political scientist, the youths want a change, but that change will not come easy. Can they go the extra mile to get that change? I've not seen that kind of like commitment to go the extra mile on the part of the youth. It's not about social media, you are kind of, okay, government is this, government is that. No, you have to kind of like be kind of like committed to having that change itself. And if you look at the structure, whether anybody likes it or not, like in Nigeria, the kind of political arrangement we operate, you need structure. And when I mean structure, you need strong structure right from the top to the bottom. So like Peter Obi, who is a very strong force in this race, do not have such a structure, sincerely. And another thing is that if you look at the Nigerian voting pattern, the North is important, very, very important. I've not seen Peter Obi kind of like do much engagement with the North, especially the Talakawas of the North, who, whether you like it or not, are a major factor in determining whether you become the president or not in Nigeria as it is constituted today. So I think there's much acceptability for Peter Obi in the South, and if even in the South, I'll limit it to the metropolis, the kind of like averagely educated or educated. But if you go to the rural area, the core village in Ondo State, in Ogun State, in River State, do they know Peter Obi?
Is that your thinking, or is it research based?
No, it's research based. Like, for example, an old woman in the rural area,
yes,
that's uneducated,
yes,
over the years knows the logo of APC and PDP. Some of these people want to vote Peter Obi. When they get there, they will be struggling to kind of like, where is his logo? Like, it takes a lot for a presidential election. Because some of them, they don't even kind of like, they may not even be able to kind of like identify the logo, despite the fact that they want to vote for you. So the engagement, if you stay within Lagos, Ogun, Port Harcourt, you would think maybe Nigeria ends there. No. During my NYC years, many years ago, I served in Kano. If you travel that far, you see that Nigeria is very big and vast. It's not within just Lagos, Abuja. No. Those people in that core rural area, how do you reach out to them? How have you kind of like oriented them? Then the agents that you are going to have there, you are dealing with big guys. These are guys that they won't think of how to give you electricity, they won't think of how to give you jobs, but when they want something from you, they know how to get it. They know how to cajole you. So your agents that are there, like, how do you want to kind of like keep them in check? So you must have a movement that these people will see it as like their own winning. You see people come, like, when it comes to APC, you see some people, despite the bad performance of APC, without apologies to the government, they take it very personal, like, APC is the best thing, and you'll be wondering, like, are you, do you really know what you are saying. If you see some of the presidential spokesperson, the presidential campaign, something, when they are on media, the aggressiveness, come, you don't muzzle Nigerians. This is the reality. Like, how do you want to kind of like win and all that? So I think for the Labour Party, the best, and keep this on record, there may be a time that there will be a Nigerian consensus. Just like we had the mini consensus during the Niger Delta crisis, and Goodluck Jonathan evolved from there as the vice president. A consensus might emerge, and Peter Obi might be in a very strategic position to kind of like, okay, take the kind of like Nigerian consensus on behalf of the Southeast. So I see Peter Obi like maybe the next Buhari of the North, like a kind of like Buhari of how Buhari was in the North then. Peter Obi might eventually be that from the Southeast, or maybe the entire South. But in terms of winning the presidential election, he's the youngest. He appears to be the brightest, in all honesty, but his chances, to me as a political scientist, is not that bright as it used to be. Another thing, apart from reaching out to the North, is the northern oligarchs itself. If you go back to the Eziogu coup or something, now you see the kind of like arrangement between North and South. Some will say the civil war is still on, like, blah, blah, blah. If you look at it, like the northern oligarchs themselves, like, what is their perception about the Southeast presidency? You need to consider that. Are they kind of like willing? Will they kind of like say, okay, like, and these are people,
Southern presidency,
yeah,
or Southeastern?
I think Southeast presidency.
Because
now, I think yes, they are not against they are not against the Southern presidency. They can't be against it if they want a united Nigeria. But a Southeastern presidency, like, will the northern oligarchs who kind of like have the power to say, okay, like, vote this way and thousands of people will vote that way, how many of them are subscribing to the Peter Obi presidency?
Yeah, all right. Well, we're beginning to wrap up really quickly. I mean, earlier you alluded to the fact that a lot of the youth want change, and you have based your comment about Peter Obi on research. Now, are you saying, I mean, a lot of Peter Obi's supporters, all the youth that are, canvassing for him, will disagree with you. They would say that Peter Obi has the structure.
Yeah, they'll see the results very soon.
Yes, they will disagree with you. Now, are you saying, or are you part of the group that are saying that the Nigerian politics today is heavily monetized, and the person with the biggest war chest will become Nigeria's president, as you have just alluded?
Well, the truth is, in Nigerian politics today, the role money plays is very saddening. When you are poor, your defense is weak. If they tell you go this way, what's your resistance level? If I tell you now that, Oji, go this way, you'll be like, why should I go that place? Because why? You're educated, maybe you have some money in your pocket. But this poor population, and another thing is that one of the ways it has been asserted to win election is, like, keep these people, keep them under check, like, hold what they need. During the election period, try and release it to them, and they will think, oh, like, you have done well, or you are doing well. So the role money plays. Some of these youth that are, I sincerely, Peter Obi is so far the best candidate. Out of the major 3 or major 4, is the best candidate. But some of these youth that are shouting Peter Obi, a week to the election, these guys have, like, tens or hundreds of, Corolla, Honda, they'll just share it to them. And before you know it, 2 days to the election, they begin to change their mind and say, oh, it's APC, oh, it's PDP. That's the reality if we want to kind of like be kind of like sincere with ourselves. Like, how many of these youth that are clamoring for Peter Obi can really stand the test of pressure? Like, the pressure, like the test of money.
Okay.
How many of them can really stand it? I don't think like many of them can.
And this is all based on your research. Well, thank you very much for joining us on the morning show today.
My pleasure.
Dr.